What's going on, guys? So today I'm gonna try and go without the sunglasses. Uh, the main reason I was wearing them was because I I just was like constantly looking around. Uh, because when I think, I'm the type to like look in all directions when I'm like deep in thought. So I figure I need to get better at it. So I figure why not just try now to practice it, especially since we're gonna do a video about me teaching you how to be more confident in general anyways, especially with women. So it's an area that I can look to improve in as well when it comes to filming videos, because yeah, I've never been the type to enjoy looking at myself on camera. I don't know, it's just not been something I have really liked. But basically I'm just going to teach you a couple of things to keep in mind, because uh, a lot of like pickup artists, I swear, like they say the stupidest shit. Like like I don't even think they believe what they're saying. I think they just tell you that so like you keep like failing, and then need to come back to get their next program, because it's like if someone has an issue that you're supplying, and then you have a thing for sale to fix it, now you're just losing your customers because you're helping them, right? Like the world's a pretty fucked up place with a lot of people, right? Like people capitalize on people's insecurities all the time. So that's why a lot of these big gurus, right? Like I swear they're not really teaching you guys like actually good information. I think they're just, in my opinion, bullshitting you. And I'm speaking from experience, right? Like I never learned from anyone on YouTube. I had to learn like just like observing over years of time. So today, just gonna go over 9 different things that I picked up on while I guess getting good at seducing women and like talking with women. And by the end, I hope you like understand. Uh, you're not gonna understand, I feel like, fully, but at least you can come back and watch it and listen to it, and then like as you experience it, like when it comes to talking to women, you'll kind of realize that like a lot of these things are just kind of fundamental uh, truths, I guess you could say. Like they're just, it's nothing like super detailed. It's just more so like just things to recognize, to fundamentally understand how to talk to women. So with that being said, we'll start with the first one. So eye contact. So no one wants to talk to someone that doesn't look at them, like ever. Like I guarantee you, for like a lot of you guys, you'll be talking to a girl and then she'll say something back and you're just like, yeah, that's cool, right? As you're like shaking in your boots. And you're not doing it to be mean. It's because you're scared and you're in your head trying to think of like something witty to say, because you're thinking back to all those YouTube videos that you watched uh, where they told you all these amazing pickup lines. They're not, but you know, they market them as amazing. And you're trying to recall them as the girl's trying to talk to you. Uh, and that's actually a point we'll cover later on in the video. But for eye contact, right? Like you gotta look them in the eye when you speak to them. That's just normal behavior. It's nothing like I'm not asking you to do anything crazy. Like you talk like this to your friends or your parents or your family, right? So why don't you do it with girls? It's the same thing. And the fact that you think it's different, because I know you're going to say, well, it's different. The fact that you think it's different is the reason why you'll never have success. I promise you guys, like, girls are not scary. Most of the time, it's actually like I love talking with girls because it's usually like really fun banter that I have with them. And they have pretty good senses of humor for the most part. Not all of them, but some of them do. And it's worth doing, right? But as long as you believe that women are scared to talk to, you'll never have the success you want, because you're putting them above you. And in regards to manifesting, right? Like I said in my previous videos, right? Like you cannot have anything above you. Like truly, like, right? Like if you are wanting to become Mr., you know, Rico Suave, right? But then you believe that like these girls are better than you. That doesn't make any sense. That's more so like a fallacy at that point, right? So practice at the store, practice with just women in your life in general. It doesn't need to be hot girls, right? Like when I would go out, like if I knew I was going out during the day, I would like go to like places and just like find like just regular women and just like make eye contact with them and talk to them, ask how their day is going, joke around with them a little bit, right? Because it just kind of like warmed me up for the night, so it wasn't like going from like one extreme to the next, you know, when it came to like making eye contact. And the practice you need to get is like those YouTube videos where like the girls just like stare at you for long periods of time, and that helps you too, then by all means, right, do it. Do what makes, you know, what helps you, but you got to get eye contact down. Like that's just like the bare minimum of a conversation in general. It's just eye contact. Next is body language, right? So I was a big, this is a big one for me when I was younger, was body language, right? Like I just looked unconfident, right? When I would talk to girls, I'd be slouching over, right? Like you want to be more like when you're talking to them, right? You like want to be like more like backwards, right? Like shoulders back, head up high, right? Like you don't want to like like overdo it, obviously, but like you just want to be able to not be like leaning over, right? And like slouching so much, because like that doesn't show confidence at all. And an easy way, guys, for you to gain more confidence in your body language is just like working out, right? Like I know like for a lot of guys, right, we work out because we want to be fit, right, or look good. But in my opinion, the biggest thing that comes with working out beyond just like, you know, looking good is the fact that it just makes you feel better. It makes you feel more confident. You feel better in your own skin because it's like you look good, you feel good, right? So when it comes to body language, I know it's difficult. I'm sure a ton of you guys, when you're talking to a girl, are shaking, right? Like just really subtly like shaking. And that's okay, right? Because it takes practice, right? But ultimately, I think working out is really effective because once you start to physically look better, like your mental like perception of yourself changes to the point where you're like, okay, I at least look like physically better than I have before, and you'll just naturally get more confident over time when it comes to it. So all right, next, tone of voice. So, and this was my biggest my biggest flaw when I was young and afraid to talk to girls, was my tone of voice. So I was the type to like whisper. Like they would talk to me and I'd be like, yeah, that's okay, yeah, I get it, you know, like just like don't do that. You want to be able to speak like you know what you're talking about. And a good rule of thumb too, like honestly, like tone of voice to me is the most important, besides not pedestalizing girls, right? But tone of voice is the most important like thing I'll teach you, because what I found was that, because I tested this, like I wanted to see how far I could take it, right? So when I would just like talk with girls, like when it got to a point where I was just really good at it, I wouldn't even like try to like seduce them like in like a conventional way. I would just like fuck with them just to say the most like outlandish, like bizarre shit my brain could possibly imagine, which when my brain gets going, it's like really, it can get really bizarre. Because I just wanted to see like the limits of like what these girls would like like almost like put up with. Because when I would do it, right, I would talk like, you know, very confidently. Like back then, you could think of me as like your kind of prototypical kind of like, I wasn't a douchebag, but like kind of the frat boy with the hat backwards, sunglasses on, but like that voice that you kind of like think of when you think of like a frat dude. Like that's kind of like how I spoke, and so imagine like that kind of like voice, but like I'm just saying like stupid shit. Like I remember like I think this was around I'm trying to remember what was going on then. But like I would like bring up topics about like fucking rainbow unicorns and I'd go up to a girl and be like, could you imagine if there was like just like a fucking purple unicorn like right there? And then I would just kind of like stare off and just kind of like wait for her to respond. Um, Most of the time they had like no clue what the fuck I was talking about, but they would kind of play along with it because it was just like stupid shit banter, right? But I think they went along with it because like they could tell like I wasn't like nervously fumbling around and just like said that because I'd had nothing else to say. Like it was pretty much like I just said that because like I wanted to, and my tone of voice conveyed that because ultimately at that point in time, right, they knew I was confident, right? So for tone of voice, right, how can you work on tone of voice? Again, right, everything comes from within, right? Whether it's manifesting or it's confidence and seduction, everything ultimately comes from like your self-belief about yourself. So if you feel like you have a lot of good stuff to say, then you will. If you feel like, you know, I can talk to girls, you know, I'm a confident guy, I can do this, then you're more likely to do so, right? But if you so like negatively talk about yourself to the point where like you just degrade yourself all the time, it's you're not doing yourself any favors. Like negative self-talk is like the killer of this stuff, right? And guys, I want you to take into account, right? I'm telling you about like the successes I had, but I haven't mentioned all of the countless failures and embarrassments and like absolute fuck ups and like where I would say something and the girl would not respond at all and just kind of silently just sit there and stare at me, right? Like I'm talking like the most awkward interactions like ever that I went through, right? But what happened was is that like over time, like I started to like figure out what was right, what was wrong, and like add up my skills when it came to like charisma with girls just by doing it. So if you're afraid of failure, like you're never gonna like truly like get good at this because all of those failures will eventually lead to successes, and you would never have had the successes unless you were, you know, led on a path of failures. It's just not going to happen. And if that didn't happen for you, you probably wouldn't be watching this video. Quite frankly, you would already have just been really good at it. So by watching this video, you know, you're going to have to go through failures to learn. So yeah, tone of voice, the most important thing. It doesn't matter what you say, it's how you say it. That just goes for anything. Think of all the stupid people you know in life, right? Like that like are popular and they speak loud, so people automatically assume they know what they're talking about. Like it's the same thing in just real life, right? So yeah, next is Kino. So Kino is a way to gauge interest from a girl physically, right? So I'm going to use my cat for instance. So let's say this is the girl, right? So I'm talking to said girl and I'm like, oh, you know, ha ha ha, that was funny, right? And it's just a light touch, right? On like the shoulder, like on the shoulder upper body, right? Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to gauge reaction. So if you do that and she kind of backs up a little bit, then that probably tells you not physically attracted or not into you. Okay. If she doesn't, then you keep talking and you progress to the next one. So the next one would be like, oh, you know, that was good, right? And then I'm surprised she hasn't like smacked me yet. But if you get to there, right, like so that would be like the back, like upper back, right? And then the last would be around the hips, right? So it's like boom, boom, boom. And you're doing this throughout the conversation to kind of gauge like touch levels, I guess. And I don't want you to take this as like a creepy way of doing it, because in fact, I think it's like the appropriate way to gauge physical contact levels, because you're doing it in a quick, like a very quick, you're doing this in like a very quick, light touches, right? Just light touches, right? So you're not like breaking any boundaries. You're not like just going for a hug or what a lot of guys do and they start like just trying to grind with girls. Like, don't do that, guys. Like, just don't do that. That's weird. But this allows you to gauge it whilst remaining like polite and like maintaining boundaries, and then it allows both of you to know, I guess, like physical boundaries. So if you go for the last one, right, around like the hips, and you're like a lot closer to her, then more than likely she's like okay with you being more physical with her. But like it's like almost like level 1, level 2, level 3, right? And if one of the levels fails, then you know to back off. That's basically how it works. So again, like shoulder, back, hip, right? And if one of them fails, you know to back off, or maybe try again later, but in my opinion, probably back off in general. And again, this is just an easy way. I always did this with every girl I picked up, every single time, because it was just my way of testing the waters without being creepy. Because like that's ultimately the thing that none of us want to be labeled as, is creepy, right? Like we don't want to be labeled as creepy. That's why guys don't usually go for girls. I know that's why I didn't, was because I didn't want to be labeled a creeper, right? So you can do this in a way that's not super creepy, because just think when you're with your friends, right? Like you might pat each other in the back, or like, oh, that was good, dude. Like, you know, just like quick pats, right? Like you do this naturally anyways. It's just now you're doing it with more of a concentrated effort to gauge physical interest levels, right? And that's just really it. Okay, so next is to have girlfriends. So yeah, guys, wingmen suck. Like like don't have guys as your wingmen. Like women don't trust a lot of guys. So in my opinion, the best wingman is a woman, because girls trust girls' opinions, even ones they don't know, far more than some random guy they know, or some random guy they just met. Like it's not gonna go well if your friends are helping you out. Like you might have some success, but nothing long term. Like I remember I got so many girls because I was friends with like one of their friends, and I was just cool with them. So they were like happy to introduce me to all of their hot friends. And it just made it way easier to like connect and like get to know them. And then I was already at that point, by being friends with her friend, prejudged, what do you call it? Like pre-selected, I guess you could say. Not pre-selected, but like I was basically, at the very least, like I was just like a chill dude, at the very least. Like I wasn't some weirdo, because her friend wouldn't be friends with me if I was some weirdo. So yeah, having girlfriends will go a long way into getting access to more girls that would be harder to get to, because of the fact that like if you just tried with your friends, like it's probably not going to go very well, in my opinion. So okay, so this one this one is the big one for a lot of you guys. So this is, I guess, where I need to actually like big bro you guys and like tell you like truthfully, which is to like stop talking like in your head, right? When a girl's talking to you, don't speak, don't think when a girl's talking to you, like at all. Like seriously, like I know for a fact, like this is probably the biggest thing that guys do wrong, like all the time. And it's because of the stupid fucking pickup culture we have on YouTube, trying to think of like witty things to say, or you know, like, oh, you just said this line, you would have totally had her. Like guys, like none of that shit works. Like pickup lines don't matter, like at all. Like they can work, but it's just like manifesting, right? Like techniques don't matter, like at all. It's like it's your belief in it that works. So like if you say a pickup line with conviction, right? Like I was saying, tone of voice, like you actually mean it, then it'll work, right? That's how you can say like the cheesiest, stupid pickup lines, and it works because you kind of just said it in the right tone of voice that worked for that instance, right? But I know for a lot of you, you're in your head too much. You're talking to this girl, right? And she's talking back to you, and you're not even listening. You're just like, you're looking at her maybe, but you're not even like listening to what she's saying. And I know for guys online, I see this all the time, because I used to believe this, which was, how do you know what to say? I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything to say when I'm talking to a hot girl. Or I freeze, right? I just can't think of anything. It's really hard when I'm talking to her. And I said the same thing. I never understood how guys would just magically know what to say when they would talk to women, right? Like, it just blew my mind, right? Like, this was some kind of like quantum physics type of ordeal to figure out. But what I found was that if you just like listen to the girl, you'll typically have things that you can like think of. Like, your brain's not like retarded, right? Like, it can have a conversation. And if you just simply just listened rather than like trying to think of the next best pickup line to say to her as she's speaking, you'll find just like that one little fix, like you'll be a lot better at talking to women in general, just from this one thing alone. Because I know all of you guys do it. Like, every guy I feel like does this, where it's like, again, right? Just shut the fuck up. Just listen, wait for her to finish, and then speak, right? Or take a second to think of something to say after she's done, right? I promise you, you're not going to have anything to say if you're thinking while she's speaking, because you basically didn't hear a word she said. You're just like, you're not even like talking at that point, which is stupid. Like what's the point of a conversation then, right? So you can take like pauses, right? Like, imagine the girl speaking to you, and you know she finishes up, and then you sit there for a second, right? Like, I always would take my time, like not like forever, but like I would just take my time with it. Like what, are we in a rush or something? Like you know, like there's no need to rush it, right? So she says something, maybe we're out, so I'm just like looking around. I'm like, yeah, and then I'll respond, right? But like, I'm not in a rush to like respond. And I feel like you guys are such in a rush to respond and with something that's witty that you were trying to remember from one video you heard a week ago on YouTube that promised that this one pickup line works on every single girl. Like, no. Your mind is wittier than you think it is, right? You're funnier than you give yourself credit for, right? But you just don't give yourself the time to even come up with stuff because you're not even letting the person speaking to you like get through what they want to say before you're trying to immediately have something to fire back. Like, so again, guys, like, you really need to understand this, right? I promise you, if you just did this one thing, you would be so much better. Like, I really feel like this is like the ultimate like best tip, I guess you could say, best technique or whatever. It's just to like not think while the girl's talking. Like, your brain will naturally come up with stuff naturally just from listening to her complete her thoughts or sentences while your brain is just not thinking, right? And see what happens, right? But we'll continue on. So next is have fun. So this was my number one thing. I always said, like, when I would go out, right, like, because I would have like friends ask me, because at a certain point, right, like, if you're getting a lot of girls, you become kind of noticeable in your circles of people. And you know, they would see me get tons of new girls, you know, throughout my time in college, right? And they would ask me, like, how do you do it? And I would always tell them that, like, dude, like, I'm going out to have fun. I don't give a fuck if I bring someone home or not. Like, I really don't care. Like, it's really not a big deal to me, right? Like, I could care less. It doesn't matter. Because ultimately, like, I'm here to have fun, and that's my number one priority. And if I have fun, then I'm good. I don't need a girl to have fun. Like, she can join me. She can have fun with me. If she wants to have fun and banter and throw like witty comebacks and tease each other, then fun, you know, awesome. But like, I'm not gonna let my whole night be dictated by whether or not I picked up some girl or not. Like, who cares, right? Like, what the fuck are we, you know? Like, are we letting women decide our level of happiness? Are we letting an individual decide our level of happiness? No, right? Like, ultimately, and I think I mentioned this in a previous video, right, when it was about manifesting, right? But we should all be more selfish than we are, right? And not in like a dick way, but just like things that like make us happy. Because I think we look outside too much for others' opinions and beliefs on us to make us decide like what we should do or how we should feel, right? So in this regard, right, have fun.
I want you to go out next time and don't even worry about picking up girls. Go out and dance. If you don't dance, like, just fucking do it. Like, you're gonna look goofy as fuck, right? But just do it, right? Eventually, like, you'll just be loosened up and have fun dancing. Like, just go out and have fun with the boys, right? Go dance. I can't tell you how many times, like, my friend group, right? Like, we would go out and there would be no one dancing, like, at all, right? And it would just be like 4 or 5 of us. And we would be the first ones out there because we knew, like, how effective this was. So we would be the first one out there. All the guys would be standing along the wall, you know, just like watching, being weirdos, right? Don't be that guy. You don't look mysterious, right? You're not some anime protagonist. I promise you. You're not Sasuke Uchiha. They're not going to come begging for you to get with you because you look mysterious, right? So this isn't anime, which I wish it was. That would be really cool if we were in an anime. But alas, right? We're not in an anime. You don't look cool. You look weird. So don't stand in the corner on the wall. Just try to dance, have fun, and don't think about, like, am I looking weird dancing? Am I looking goofy? Maybe I am, right? Maybe I look goofy as fuck, right? Like, but ultimately, I really did not care, right? Maybe I'm the worst dancer in the world. Maybe, right? I don't think I am, but, maybe I am. Maybe some people laugh at that, right? Well, I hope I gave them a laugh, right? Because I know I'll probably never see them again. But ultimately, the main goal when going out was to have fun, first and foremost. That's it. Nothing else mattered. Nothing else mattered, like, at all. If you're not having fun, what's the point, right? Like, honestly, what's the point of going out with friends if you're not going to have fun, right? Why did going out become this stressful thing that, like, if we didn't get girls, our night was ruined? Like, who made that, right? Who made that rule? Why is that, like, the outcome that's needed to dictate a good night or not? Is whether a female, thought I looked attractive and cool and wanted to go home with me and sleep with me, right? Like, why is that the barrier to entry for a fun night, right? Like, that's stupid. So, again, go out, have fun, first and foremost. Fix your mindset. Who cares about if you get laid or not, right? Who cares if you get turned down? Doesn't matter. Literally, we'll forget it. And kind of leading into my next point, right? Don't pedestalize girls. Like, don't put them on a pedestal. Every guy does this who struggles with girls. Every guy. I know you do as well, right? You put the girls on a pedestal and you're down here and you feel like you would just be so lucky just to have the chance to be with my lady, right? Because you're down here and she's up here, right? How can you expect to have a chance? Do you think she's going to look down at you, right? And say, oh, come up because you're such a nice dude. Now you can come with me. No. The only guy that she's going to go for is the guy that thinks he's up here and she's down here, right? Look at dating apps. It's the same way, right? Girls only go above, like, where they're at. So that's why 90% of the girls go for 10% of the guys on like, dating apps, right? It's because girls they hyperinflate their own egos and then they shoot upwards past where they think they should be, realistically, right? So that should tell you, okay, I need to put myself on a pedestal equal or above them, right? In my own mind. And whether or not they agree, who cares, right? But at least you're not going to look like such a wimp to the point where, like, you are turning into a milady trying to please the girl, right? So I'll give you an example from my own life. So back in college, we had a bar with a we had a bar with an outside, like, courtyard area, like grassy turf, right? A big open area with a stage, and it was cool. And there'd be DJs and stuff, but yeah, just big open courtyard, part of this bar area. So one thing I always like to do in college, I would just kind of go wander off by myself because I just like to go on adventures by myself. So one night I ended up at this place where none of my friends were, and I was just drinking around. I like to just go on adventures with new people and just see what happens because it was just kind of fun. I always felt like I was, like, part of, like, I was with a bunch of NPCs, during my drunken adventures, walking down to different bars and stuff. Like, I always felt like I was, like, on different quest lines and stuff. It was so funny. But anyways, back on topic, right? So at this bar, I was talking to this girl for a bit, and we were flirting, and things were going good. And she was trying to get me to go buy her a drink because, of course, right? That's just apparently like what we do at this point. So, but I was just enjoying the music. I was dancing, right? Like at this point, I was like hat backwards, sunglasses, just dancing to like the DJ, right? And I was just kind of talking to her a little bit, after our initial conversations and such. And she said, "Hey, like let's go get a drink. How about you go get us a drink?" And I looked at her and I said, "You know what? I'm chilling here. You can go get a drink. I'll be right here if you want to come back. If not, all good. No worries. You know where I'll be." And I just faced towards the stage and kept dancing. And I promise you, this girl was probably like, "Damn, all right." Like now she felt the need, right? Like just think, like just from like a subconscious level, right? I basically just put myself on a pedestal above her, like to her face, right? Because I basically said, "I'm here. I don't need you. You can go. You can leave and not come back, and I won't care." Right? So now the narrative of this dynamic was that I'm up here and she's down here, right? Like that's just kind of what comes of it, right? So, you know what she did? She for like left for 5 minutes, and I was just dancing, just vibing, just doing my thing by myself, right? Didn't know anyone there, and she came back with another guy, and she handed me a drink, um, and basically she got this I shouldn't laugh, but this is just like how like a lot of girls are, guys. Like it's just this is why you need to understand this stuff, because it's like girls are brutal if you let them take advantage of you, right? This dude was probably a nice guy, right? Really good guy. He got talked into buying her a drink, thinking that that was the key to getting her to sleep with me. Buddy, no, you just got used as a piggy bank. So yeah, so she comes back with the guy, and then she starts talking to me, completely ignores the guy, right? And she hands me a drink. So basically, this dude bought me a drink and her a drink. And then she basically shooed him away. And then I went home with her that night, right? But the point of the story was that the reason I had better success than that guy was because he felt the need to buy her something to seek her approval of him. Whereas by me refusing to buy her a drink and saying, "You're good, you can go. If you want to come back, you know where I'll be," right? That's what got her to come back, because she was like, "Okay, this dude like shows he's not like a simp. He doesn't need me. I want to be with a guy like that, rather than a dude who just like thinks he's entitled to me because he bought me a drink," right? Like, no, it doesn't work that way. So I hope that story kind of made sense for why you don't pedestalize girls, because I guarantee you that guy probably did, and he got abused by her, and he basically bought me a drink because of it. So lastly is have an abundant mindset, right? This is for you guys that go through this, right, and actually start like practicing game, right? You're gonna get denied. You're gonna get laughed at. Girls will tease you right to your face. Like, it's brutal, right? It gets absolutely brutal. But eventually, you grow thick skin and you just don't really care that much, right? Some nights, I would go 0 for 9 when it came to talking to girls. Like, that's gonna happen sometimes, right? But the only thing that mattered was that I got that 1 out of 10, and the only thing my fraternity brothers remembered was that I went home with a girl, and that's all they remember. They don't remember the 9 girls I struck out with. They only remember the one that mattered in the end. And that, like, it's so silly, like, to kind of think about, like, how like we are as like humans and stuff. But the point is that I didn't let like all those denials like fuck with me, like, at all, like, because at a certain point, like who cares? Like, honestly, if a girl like says, "No, I'm not interested," all right, no problem, and then instead of being like, "Oh, she probably thought I was weird looking," or, "Oh, she probably thought I was like really creepy," or, "Oh man, she probably thought I was some kind of simp or something," instead I would be like sarcastic and be like, "Damn, she probably thought I was the fucking weirdest creepo in the world." I don't blame her. I am kind of a little goofy looking, right? And then I just walk away, like, right? I just kind of like make fun of myself, but like in a light manner, right? Because like it's not that serious. So it's kind of a long video. This one I see it's 34 minutes, but I do hope that this kind of helps to open some eyes and kind of some of the examples I gave kind of to better describe how this works, because guys, I promise it's not that difficult. If you just kind of, again, just remember, like, girls are not some alien species. They're not some fucking alien fucking goddess from another universe, right? They're just like you, they're just like me, right? They do the same things as we do, right? Only difference is they're a little bit more perceptive of body language and like those kind of things because they needed to be. Because back then that was their power, was being able to do that, right? That's how they survived a lot of interactions with men, were by outwitting them and outplaying them when it came to like human emotion and human body language, right? Whereas we had strength. So again, I know this is a struggle for tons of guys. And part of why I wanted to do this was because I was one of those guys that like was super afraid to talk to women, like, at all. But I hope this does find the right people, and maybe it'll help you, maybe not. But if it does, and you have questions, or you can feel free to ask me any more questions. And I'm more than happy to help you out if you do need the help. So with that, that's pretty much it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.